What up, y'all? The show. You know what time it is. It's Dungeon World time. Thursday, August 3rd. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing great. Hope you're ready for the Saga Broken Blades. What up?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
You guys ready
Howdy.
for episode 8 of this motherfucker? What up, Guru?
So each episode is like an hour of the day. So
right.
if we're getting through a year, it's going to be quite a few.
So like we talked about a little bit before the show, we're gonna advance time a little bit here. Executive producer decision. So that the band has successfully encaged all the remaining zombies, the same methodology, and we're gonna have the band assembled inside of Bercy's house, having a very uncomfortable discussion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I think what we should do is switch over to this map so we can draw her on it. And we'll draw some stuff.
What would you like drawn?
I'm just doing it real quick.
Ah, okay.
Doesn't have to be fancy. So let's say there's a table. You guys could throw like letters on there that are your characters if you want. Something like that. The door.
It looks like a
Oh
healthy
wow, these
fire.
are super tiny.
You guys
I made
trying
mine
to
100.
spell dirty names?
Be so.
ESO Online. Sponsored.
It was the hills from Mario.
Would anyone else be here? Yeah, I think so. I think we all know who.
I clearly forgot Bolin.
I know. I thought you cared about him.
Would family members be here?
No, but Lefty would be. So it's approaching evening. You're ranged in Bercy's house. Edda's father, former judge, passed it down to her, having no sons. His eldest daughter stripped her of her judgeship already due to some of the machinations of the Raven Council and Mundi, who's actually currently kidnapped by the orcs. Now he's here with one of the survivors of your band's slaughter of a group of brigands, if you remember correctly. And the Feldergrins, does it ring a bell at all?
I vaguely recall what you're speaking about. Remember it a little differently.
Now, did you guys take a moment to look at like your moves and your alignment and shit like that? So you have it in mind, your bonds.
Yep.
If not, you should take a
Yes.
moment right now. Additionally, I bet you guys have like a surplus of XP, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And chill, keep it casual. I know we're streaming it on the show, but like, don't get the stream up tightness that is only natural, but I'm immune to because I stream all the time.
You mean
Just-
play like we always do?
Yeah, just play normally, just chill, relax.
It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, we're a little rusty. It's been like 2 months.
I'm playing Albion to get back into the dungeon crawling experience right now.
Well, that's when we start doing Labyrinth Lord. But oh yeah, like I was asking, do some of you have like XP sitting there waiting to level?
I think we all can.
We
level
all
right
do.
now.
Because we remember we are doing the rule where it takes time to level, right?
Right.
Well, that's a bummer. You guys gotta make some time to level.
Well, we gotta find a safe place to hang out for a week.
Uh,
Does jail count?
Jail counts.
So Lefty has given his description of what happened at the Feldergrins. He describes the fact that no one announced themselves, no one called out to identify, that your band just set upon them like wolves.
Did he describe this with us present?
Yeah, right there right across the table from you.
Now, Edda has senses that pierce lies. So as she's sitting there watching Lefty tell his account,
Well, he
does it
actually
appear to be lying?
Yeah, he just tells it like it actually happened, which is that part is true. He doesn't appear to fabricate. He appears to be terrified. He appears to be quite young still, like maybe a teenager. So seems more likely that he was just someone disposed from somewhere else and got caught up with a bunch of other folks in the same situation, but who were pretty unscrupulous. So Bercy, seems angry, but he's keeping it quelled, keeping it tugged back. And to set the scene a little, the fire's going, it's coming on to evening out there. Remember that Gorga said tonight, whatever that means. Lefty Saga describes some kind of like, he's dirty, he's got blood on him. He's like a little blonde punk. Bercy's like kind of red-faced because he's mad. You know, he's a bit rotund. He looks somewhat like Edda. His hair is like mostly faded to gray, but you know, parts still show that it was once red. He seems pissed. He's staying quiet. He holds his hand out once again for Edda's longsword, which was once his. What do you do?
Father, what kind of judge would you be if you didn't hear our side of the tale before making your judgment?
He seems too pissed to talk, so he just, with his hand, signals for you to continue.
Did Lefty tell you where he was when we came upon his group in the Feldergrens? If Bercy doesn't reply, she looks to Lefty to answer. Did you tell him where you were? And where the rest of your group was?
He actually did describe it pretty accurately, yeah.
So he described that he was going to rob us?
He placed most of the blame on the people he was with.
At this point, I think Sigmund would kind of lean across the table, kind of putting his right arm across, kind of approaching Bercy, saying, I need to ask you to postpone this. We will have this conversation. We will need to mete out justice, but I'd like to be charming and open with him. So I'd like to be charming and open, and the thing that I would like to ask him is, how can I get you to postpone this conversation until after the evening is gone? Because we know that something will be happening. And
So is that a move that you're using?
Yes, it is.
And let me take a look at it here. Boom.
So you're legit asking him if this can wait until after tonight.
Certainly.
So when you speak frankly with someone, oh yeah, let me throw this on the main viewing portal here. When you speak frankly with someone, you can ask their player a question from the list below. I appreciate your effort, but this is... Well, I can't really tell if they intend for this to only be used on other players or not. Because I guess I would be the player of an NPC, right?
That's how I read it when I was doing a campaign.
Alright, and so you're asking him, how can I get you to
leave this until later.
Right.
Leave this conversation until after the evening.
Got it.
Gone.
Sigmund, with a very disarming demeanor that only storytellers can quite achieve, in conjunction with the built-in respect these people have for the Scalds, Bercy makes eye contact with Sigmund, raises one of his prodigious eyebrows, and then opens his hand once again for Edda's blade.
Bruce is going to take Fringir off his back and set it into Bercy's hand and say, "This is collateral."
You can't give ring gear.
I can.
I'll give up my sword.
Bercy shakes his head, pushes Ringgear scabbarded back toward you.
Just nod.
He is insistent.
Edda will give up her sword. She's not pleased about it. She feels like it's an unwise move, and she tells her father so, because she knows that it will be needed tonight, and that it's the one of two swords in the whole town.
Bercy starts walking with it over to this counter. Some kind of workspace. With his back to you, expecting all of you to stay seated and behave. Even Volan seems to understand. He's laying there with his ears lowered. Bercy asks, "What new devilry happens tonight?"
Father, you should know that you were lied to by Mundi. In the fields, when the orcs came to drop off the cages of the undead, we saw him. He was captured by the orcs. They were carrying him around in a net. But we had the opportunity to speak to him, and when we asked him where he had kept the swords safely, he told us that they were with the orcs. We don't know what his motives were, but we know that he's with them and that the orcs have all of the swords of the town.
Is that not simply, Bercy asks, that they took one when they took the other?
Do you believe that an old man can carry around that many pounds of steel?
And how would the orcs have captured Mundi? Would he have not been in town, in his house? At what point would Mundi and all of the swords of town have left?
While Bercy has had his back to you, he's been gathering a few tools. Then you hear him hammering on some sort of metallic object. Still, what does this have to do with tonight's new devilry?
The orc warlord only told us tonight with a wry smile.
Bercy simply sighs, shakes his head, and says, "I suppose we will find out." Then he walks out into the sunset. You hear him standing out onto the porch, which now exists.
Ida follows him.
Well, one thing she notices as she stands up and walks out are the shattered remnants of the blade of her longsword laying on the counter.
It's the Saga of broken blades. Ida asks her father, "What do you propose we do?"
Well, hold up. That was the first scene with Edda.
Okay.
It ends with Edda leaving out. So, are you still doing the note thing?
Yeah, give me a second to catch up.
Yeah,
a
that's what I was figuring. So that cuts the first scene with Edda walking out as well. This is a little tense moment inside of here, huh?
Oh, look, there's 4 of us and Lefty all by ourselves.
Just remember our alignments.
Alignments can shift.
If you guys had to speculate right now, while we're waiting, helping Bean catch up and everything, what do you think is gonna happen at sundown?
I think a siege.
Another one?
Yeah, a real one.
What the fuck is that sound?
It's my
the time.
clock.
He lives in a castle, remember?
Yeah.
That was
I'm
one of
setting the
his servants ringing a bell. My lord!
Oh, I know what's going to happen tonight, my lord. I think
The walkers are coming.
I don't know. I think Lefty might possibly evolve into some kind of creature.
Wow, you're giving
He's
me
a lichen.
ideas now.
We're the only ones in there to witness it.
Yeah, you got to believe me. He turned into a werewolf.
That's
Of
why we
course.
killed him.
Oh yeah, remind me what time we can go until, Lewis. That's cozy for you.
I say we have 2 hours left.
Alright, so right now it is about 2 o'clock. So, okay, it was still about 4 o'clock. I remember. Cool. Groovy, just checking.
Thanks.
But I think I will officially rule that you can use your charming and open ability on non-player characters as well. And technically, I'm the player. That'll
Okay,
make it more
that's
fun.
I was chancing my arm a little bit there because I figured it was more like, yeah.
It's pretty impressive that he can break a sword with a hammer on a counter.
Well, he probably used like some kind of chisel thing too. Alright,
Okay.
Alright, we're catched up enough.
cool. So, do we want scene 2? I see 2 obvious options. Out on the porch or inside?
I think, thinking of TV, I think the porch scene would happen first.
Yeah. So, scene 2 is out on the porch with Bercy and Edda. What do you do? And you guys are doing a good job role-playing and everything, and using your moves, so keep that going. Just don't forget about your moves and get too wrapped up in the dialogue. And I like for you guys to say exactly what you say if that's what you want to do. But in some cases, it's okay if you want to just describe what you say, depending. You feel me? Unless you're trying to say some cold shit. So anyway, scene 2, out on the porch. Sun's starting to go down. What do you do, Edda?
I'm just thinking.
Bercy has his back to you. Well, maybe you're both standing there in silence for a bit. What do you think? There's cicadas and shit and crickets. Think about the ambiance. There's the tension. You're like, what's going on inside? Bercy did leave the door open strategically so I could hear.
That's until the next scene.
When he quietly reaches over and is like, "Ee." But yeah, take your time. That's also what I meant about we are streaming it, but don't let that force you to artificially go fast and shit. Oh, we're just playing the game. We're just sharing it with our friends as well. Poor Guru, man. I know you've been suffering out here in Oreganistan, bro. Is your store where you work at air conditioned? Hopefully. It's gotta be, right, Jerry's?
Yeah, guys, it's 108 degrees today where we live.
Yeesh.
Wasn't it supposed to rain all the time there?
I
Yeah,
don't
not so
remember the
much in the
last time it
summer.
rained. Alright, are you done thinking, Edda?
I think so.
What are you saying to your...
I think I'm done thinking.
What's going on? Are you doing moves? That's the other thing is like roll. You should be trying
That's
to
what I'm
pull
trying to
as many
figure out.
moves as possible because that equals experience points. And also, if it goes wrong, I can have a good little fun.
Ada asks her father, if the orcs come back, how do you propose, or what do you propose that we as the town do?
He has his back to Edda. He's smoking his pipe. Smoke's coming out. You can see it puffing out from behind. I'm not the fool that you think I am. Then he puffs.
Are you role-playing Puffin over there?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. At the first sign of trouble with Hake, I dispatched a rider to Ugathwaite. The
Do you
reinforcements
believe-
should arrive soon.
Do you believe that they will arrive in time?
It doesn't matter what I believe. They will or they will not.
What do you want me to do?
Are you trying to do a move here or something?
I'm trying to figure out what sort of leverage I might have to parlay with my father, but I'm not quite
Oh, well,
sure
he's
what
not
he
just
would
going to
want.
tell you what it is. There. He puffs again. He says, "You've already done it. The cursed blade lies in pieces inside."
I don't think I have any good way to parlay with him. Because all I would really want is a sword.
Is the scene over with that?
I think so.
That cold ass line? The cursed blade? Listen to that. Did you know your father was that cold of a motherfucker?
Nope.
He's
But
pissed.
I've never been in this much trouble either.
Alright, where's scene 3?
Inside.
Inside, we're going to be planning out how we're going to deal with the siege.
So Lefty sits across the oaken table, uncomfortable, his eyes at the floor, scared to look at you. And you do notice his hands are tied at the wrist, though in front of him in his lap. Which is like a more trusting thing to do. If you're unfamiliar with tying people up. So we've got Sigmund, Bruce, Oscar, and Volan. And do this. Give me a little... Like, how are they sitting on their stools, and what do they look like right now? Lace that in a little bit for me. Whoever starts doing their, whatever they want to do first. Give me the spice.
I'm thinking
Spice must glow.
Yeah.
Bruce is going to be staring at Lefty. Not really untrustworthy, more like guilt-ridden, as he realizes he's killed, what could be people who are just in a bad situation. He's going to, lean forward on his stool, rest his elbows on the table, and, tell him what he's thinking right now, and tell him, he apologizes if he's killed his friends, but it was a tough situation that he made a snap decision to start fighting, and he's not proud of it, and he's not holding any grudges against him, and he's going to ask for forgiveness.
Are you trying to do a move, or are you just role playing your nuts off?
I'm role playing my nuts off, but seeing if I can get him to open up and start talking, see if he knows anything.
That sounds like a move to me. You want something from him, right? So that would be a parlay, at least.
But I don't really have leverage over him.
Exactly. So he just stays silent and keeps looking at the floor.
All right. He heard me.
Sigmund is perched on his stool, legs crossed, and he's just resting one of his elbows on his crossed leg, kind of cradling his chin, almost in like a position of a smoker, but he's lost all of his halfling
the dank pipe leaf.
Yeah, so he can't even smoke that. So it's kind of tense because he doesn't have that to hand. He feels like it would be a good situation to have that ready to dispense. Trying to kind of keep a guard up, but is also, like Bruce, trying to be sympathetic towards Lefty. Maybe wants to relax Lefty a little bit, you know, just talk to him, make him perceive that the group of people who he is with, you know, they're not a group of monsters, even though there is literally like a huge wolf.
Hey, he's not as big as you think he is.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you about to charming and open Lefty? Is that what's about to happen?
I'd like to ask him how he's feeling. Which is
what are you really feeling right now? You're trying to use that one on him, to speak frankly?
Yeah.
Because I could totally imagine that scene. Sigmund, like, kind of leans over. He's like, look, you know, like, whatever. You're like, I don't even fight. Like, I don't even have a sword. Like,
yeah, there's now 2 broken blades. We've achieved our namesake.
he's like, I do have skaldic magic powers when I strike notes on this fiddle, but we won't get into that. Anyway, you ask Lefty essentially how he's really feeling. He says, I'm alone in a room with a bunch of outlaws and a wolf. I'm terrified. And he even scoots a little bit away, closer to the fire, since his legs aren't bound, just his hands.
As you should be.
Oh shit.
Damn.
So no moves this scene? Except for that one? No rolling moves?
Can Etta come back in the house?
Oh, hold up. I just read this other part. I get to ask back a question of Sigmund.
Right.
So after Lefty scoots away and then Oscar says, as you should be, he asked of Sigmund, this is why I think I'm going to kibosh this on NPCs after this scene right here. Because I do actually think this is intended for players. So This is the last time you can do it, but it's all good. It's fun while it lasted. He's going to ask you, how can I get you to untie me?
How can I get you to untie me?
Yeah, how could he get you to untie him?
Sigmund's stops resting his hand, or resting his chin in his hand, and kind of opens his hands out in a kind of pleading gesture and says, well, it's not really our role here, as you say. We're bound by the law of the place that we're in. We might be outlaws, but we have to respect that maybe there is a justice that's greater than us waiting for you. So There's nothing that you can do to make us untie you at this time.
You wish to take matters into your own hands. There are some broken chunks of metal over there. But who's to say what will happen?
Lefty keeps scooting.
He's gonna scoot his ass into the fire.
Is the scene done?
Etta was gonna come back in. She seems to remember when she was young, she once came upon in the house her father's secret stash of halfling pipe leaf, which he pretends not to enjoy, but still all the same.
Well, number
she
one,
did
she's
find it in the
pissed at
house.
her dad, so she's gonna take his stash or try to. And
Well,
she's
you know,
good
it
in
seems like
alignment.
we're all gonna die. I didn't say I was gonna steal it. I was gonna see if we had any.
I don't think Bruce wants to be party to this.
So she walks in with a devious look on her face. What are you trying to do? A move?
I was thinking that would be spouting lore.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah,
not
when
devious.
you
She's
consult your
overwhelmed and wants to
accumulated
spill some
knowledge.
halfling pipe leaf.
So when you consult your accumulated knowledge about something, roll intelligence. That's step one.
My intelligence modifier is -1.
So
That
Etta
is not the
remembers there was a
brightest.
but she might not remember where.
She's more
Might
brawn
not
than bright.
remember.
But Sigmund stayed in this house, and I would think maybe Sigmund and Bercy might have partaken a little bit when they were hanging out.
Are we angling for an aid here? Because I was.
I think,
It was an aid to an aid.
Bruce nudges Sigmund. Hey.
Go
Sigmund
keeps the
says-
shit.
If you do want to roll an aid for Sigmund, remember that one is based on the number of bonds you have with that person.
okay.
So it would
Tie
be
yourself to Etta if she gets in trouble.
it would be you'd roll bonds with Edda. 2d6 plus the number of bonds you have with Edda.
Alright. So, Sigmund says, now that you mention it, the reason I didn't bring it up sooner is because I'm still feeling the effect of it, and I think it was somewhere around here.
Well,
So that's a miss, which means
Gets out the door.
I get to do something.
and you get XP.
So Edda, so let me be clear here. Edda walks in, and does she just straight up say what she's doing, or is she just looking around?
No, she says out loud that she thinks that she remember that seeing as how they're about to face imminent danger and possibly being permanently outlawed, that some half
Oh, I don't think it'd be permanent.
might actually help the
It'd
situation.
be like a year and a day would be appropriate.
So eternity
Well.
in our case.
At the rate that you go, yes. But it's cool because you guys never leave this village, so it's fun. You'll just be like, instead of in the village, you guys will be in the woods next to it for eternity now.
Oh, so we'll be at Oscar's house.
Yeah.
No, we'll just advance time through all the time when we're in exile.
There you go. Let's not have any adventures. Perfect. So she says, I'm looking for my father's stash. And then Sigmund is trying to remember where his stash is, because Bercy and Sigmund actually shared a spliff together because he would be honored to smoke with the Scald. But of course it was he was too blazed to remember where the hell it actually was. But because that's a miss, I make a move, and that move is Bercy comes to the door and says simply, he's very dour. He's not as animated as usual. He just looks super pissed. Which, you know, I would be if Etta was my daughter. She's supposed to be a judge and shit. He says, the big orc is returning. He's been spotted far down the track.
I need to ask a quick mechanical question. Since we kind of fast forwarded in time, we haven't had a chance to heal. So where would we all stand as far as our HP? Have we had a chance to rest up?
Well, how does healing work?
Well, we could make camp, but would sitting at Bercy's house, getting in trouble, count as making camp? The rules do say you can make camp at an inn or a house, but we just didn't specify that that's what we were doing ahead of time.
Yeah, we can rule that you made camp one time.
Okay, let me
We'll
just
say
look at
that
how much
Bercy
that
fed
is.
you pathetic people.
Let's see.
But, if you took a nap, you heal half your max HP in damage. So like add whatever half of your current of your max
Round it
HP is.
Down.
Yeah, usually round that type of shit down, I would say.
Okay.
Remember we did the level up thing where you actually need downtime equal to days, not hours. Because I feel like that training your levels should be like a more important thing than it normally is in games. So I'm glad that they put that option in there. But you don't have to consume a ration because the Bercy fed you. Though remember, Edda's on a quest. That means I don't think she has to eat.
I don't.
So can we take those 2 extra rations?
No.
I would think I might have to eat to heal, or no?
No.
Okay. Well, that's
Sleep is what heals you.
I don't have to sleep either, though.
But you get it. You know.
Yeah. We made camp.
Magic.
And healed.
But that was a good call out. So anyway, Bercy comes in and explains that Gorga has been spotted returning as the sun is getting closer to dark. What do you do? What's the next scene?
Well, I think first we would want to know if Percy wants us to speak on behalf of the village or if he wants to.
Do you ask him?
Yeah.
So this scene kind of continues. Scene 3, we just have new people entering the scene. Got it. Bruce asks Bercy, sounds like in like a placating manner, who he wants to represent Odstad.
Essentially, yeah. We know we're kind of on his shit list. He might not want us to speak to an orc warlord.
With Bercy, the gloves are off now. He raises again his eyebrow. Do you think the beast is here to discuss diplomacy?
Do we know if he's with his warband?
He has
If
been
he's
spotted alone.
I think it would be very difficult for a single orc warlord to kill an entire town.
Not
You
if
don't
that
become
town is
warlord of
completely
orcs.
unarmed.
Maybe he doesn't know that.
He does know that because he's the one who has all of our swords.
Yeah, but we can
And
get
he
other
has
weapons.
Mundi.
Bercy sighs in disgust and walks away. You hear him walk off the porch.
We need to arm the town.
Alright,
With-
So if we're
so
gonna split up,
I guess this is a really long scene 3. Alright, cool. I'm just trying to keep it clear in our head and for Bean's notes.
Yeah, I'm good.
we have a logging town. There's gonna be axes in the lumberyard.
Oh, hold up. I actually that reminds me of something. I meant to mention at the top of the session. There has been a behind the scenes update to the settings. Very minor, but it leads to something later. The resource lumber is no longer on, like it's no longer part of the Oddstod setting because remember the Feldergrins have been they're no longer safe. They're filled with orcs and who knows what.
I
So
think you
that's
mentioned that the last time.
Alright, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
So you're suggesting that we arm the town with wood-cutting axes and kitchen knives and farming tools?
If you're taking a counterpoint, do you suggest they just fight them with bare fists?
I suggest that we evacuate the town.
Also a valid plan.
If the orcs are approaching, or at least the biggest and scariest of the orcs, he could likely easily take this town by himself, even with the townspeople being armed.
Yeah.
And if reinforcements aren't coming from Ugathwaite, then maybe we should evacuate the town. Maybe the town should flee to Jorvalholm or elsewhere.
I agree that one battle-hardened orc warlord is more than capable of taking down townspeople. I mean, you don't become warlord of something like a rowdy band of orcs by shrewd thought and diplomacy.
At this point, Sigmund is suddenly very animated and turns to Bercy.
Nah, Bercy's left.
Yeah, Bercy's
What?
outside.
Oh. Oh man.
Well, you can still
But
turn
you
towards
could
him.
go. You could go get him.
Yeah,
The door's
Sigmund
open.
turns to where he was and he's like, oh man.
I was still thinking about where the halfling leaf was.
Exactly.
Didn't even realize that people left the room.
Exactly.
Well,
It's powerful stuff.
I think Sigmund would run out and appeal to Bercy, using his relationship with him, you know, as a skald. Even though the relationship isn't good because we're outlawed.
Alright, so we'll go to scene 4 and you move out. Here, let me draw like. Nah, that's fine. You just move out. Bercy's not too far off. As Sigmund walks out off the porch, he sees Bercy a few paces off from his own porch. You can see that the few villagers in sight are either scurrying home or locking themselves inside of the closest neighbor's house or generally getting out of sight. Bercy lives kind of at the edge of the village of Oddstad, which is small enough that it's only really connected to... I'll pull up this bigger map real quick just for the view.
I forgot we had Bercy and Bruce, and I saw Double B.
Civilization by like hunting tracks and things that got worn in. You know, it's a very small, shrinking village, mostly older people, potentially about to be a lot of dead people. But anyway, you see people getting away and tucked away. So we'll go scene 4. We're standing out. We see all the villagers doing as described. Did Bruce come out too? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Was he standing on the edge of the porch?
Yeah, just watching Sigmund, seeing
In
how
the
that
background?
conversation goes.
I see. They're a few paces off. Do you want to be far enough that Bruce can't hear you, or do you want to be within earshot of Bruce so he can participate?
I want to be in earshot.
Cool, so he's kind of just in the background, almost Guardian style. Go for it.
So, Sigmund tries to reach out to Bercy and says, "We don't have a chance defending the town against, well, defending Oddstad against this giant orc. You have to trust us to help evacuate the villagers. It's the most sensible thing we can do." Sigmund doesn't know that reinforcements are coming, does he? Because Bercy's only told Edda. Is that right, or has Edda told the group?
No, Edda hasn't told anyone.
Yeah, I don't
That
think anyone
conversation
knows but
happened in
her,
private.
because it happened
Alright.
out on the porch.
That's fine. Yeah. So Sigmund, under the assumption that nothing is going to change, suggests that.
That was like a continuity check. You're like, continuity team. Hey, could you check this? Run it back.
Exactly.
Isn't
Just to
he
make
the
sure.
lore master?
Okay, does she know this yet? Okay, cool. All right, go. Action.
So yeah, Sigmund turns to Bercy and says, "We don't have a chance against this type of enemy. We need to leave, and you have to trust us to evacuate the villagers to Yorvalholm. And whatever justice you are thinking of meting out on us, it has to wait until then."
So, are you trying to do? Sounds like you're trying to do a move, but are you trying to parlay?
No, I'm just I'm not trying to do a move necessarily. It was just role playing.
Oh, I see. Well, he's not gonna just budge. So,
Maybe I should. I can't parlay because I don't have any leverage. I can't
We do have leverage.
The safety of the town is leverage.
Well, we can delay the orc while he makes the escape with the townspeople.
yeah, you could generate some leverage via some role playing here.
We might be able to take on this orc, maybe.
Does Bruce
Or
want to
if it's
step in?
just the orc, and he's here alone.
Is Bruce
mean-
parlaying?
Bruce may be parlaying here. He'll
Does
tell
he
him
step up
Is
and what does he
is
do?
Aiding with the parlay.
No, it's too late. We're gonna make the fighter roll it.
that, yeah, the fighter's got a 0 charisma modifier.
Look, fails are good. All right.
So Bruce is gonna, detail his little plan here that he can, delay the warlord long enough, hopefully, for them to evacuate the town, just in case something horrible happens. And his leverage is that he will offer his life for the town.
And what do you want for that? What's the trade?
The want would be not necessarily
Because your
exoneration,
leverage is
but-
something they need or want, and what Bercy wants is for the Oddstadians to be safe, right? So if you're willing to solo the orc, so to speak, then it's what do you want them to do? That's the question.
I would like for forgiveness for my comrades, not necessarily for myself, but for Sigmund, Edda, and Oscar. I was leading that troop into the trap with Lefty, and I had the responsibility to announce ourselves and make our intentions clear, and I did not. So I won't exact exactly ask for it for myself, but
So Bruce
ask
takes
for it for
ownership of not announcing and at least being honorable, and begs for forgiveness, not even for himself, just for his comrades. But to earn that, he offers to walk out against Gorga alone. Am I clear on this?
or with whoever will stand with me.
Got it. So go ahead and roll charisma. And if Sigmund wants to aid, it might be a wise time. Ooh, nope.
It would be wise.
I was, yeah.
Nah, that's all good. Alright, so that's a miss, so I
Gotta
get
not press
to
that enter so fast.
I get to do something too. I've only got to make 2 moves so far. This is cool. You guys are not doing moves. You guys fail so much on your rolls, it's adorable.
Yeah. Dave's
We
like,
really
fails are
hope-
good. We're like, we're stockpiled in fails for 3 levels.
It's like
We need some
anytime you,
success.
yeah, it's like you guys are getting some XP, solid though. Don't forget to, when you fail a roll, you get 1 XP immediately, so don't forget to mark it.
The next time we have a whole month where we can just chill, we'll definitely be leveling up.
As Bruce is explaining to Bercy, they both look up and see Gorga looming only a few hundred yards down the track that leads up to the edge of Odstad. Bercy says, I don't think there will be time. So that was scene 4, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so I think we should transition to scene 5. Now, where's scene 5 at?
Etta has an idea.
What?
Well, she realizes that Gorga is coming alone, is that right?
That's the
As
word.
it seems.
So that means that all of the swords that Mundi and his ravens took.
Now let's be clear. These are not fanciful things. This is like the meager iron of a
I
peasant
understand.
lumber village. We're not talking Excalibur over here.
I understand. Well, I was thinking about stealing them back, but there's probably not time for that either. I think we just need
As
to face
Edda
Gorga.
fumbles around with her words, Oscar goes and grabs Lefty by the scruff of his neck, or on the back of his shirt, and like starts pushing him outside. And he says to him,
So scene 5 is in. Oh, well, scene 5 begins with Oscar dragging Lefty outside. Is that what's up?
"Yeah,
Now I can give you a back door if you don't want to go out the porch, or do you want to? You
no,
don't
we're
care?
going out on the porch."
Okay, so I'll move Lefty out there. You go ahead and move your shit.
Yeah, and as I'm pushing him out there, it's like fate has come to greet us.
I'm following.
All right. So my question is, are we done with this? Can I clear this and then we'll have?
Yeah, you want to have the
We'll
porch.
draw the edge of the yeah. Let me move this shit out of the way so I don't delete it. Let me just draw some shit real quick. Yeah, we can do like the porches here. Got a fucking doorway. Rest of the shit going that way. Boom, boom. Let's say there's like a very narrow track that comes into town. That And then kind of goes past. And he's coming this way. He's just strutting down the middle, doesn't give a fuck. You know, it's got grass growing in it and shit. It's basically just been worn in like by people's fucking carts and shit. You dig? Right on. And then, remember we decided that, like most villages, it's pretty cleared around the outskirts of the village, but then, like, there's like a pretty hefty tree line not too far away. So you got something like this going on. And he's coming out of the woods a few hundred yards out. You dig? You got a mental picture. It's night. You got cicadas, crickets. You got the works. Alright. So this is scene what, 5? And then, you know, place yourselves appropriately. I believe Lefty had been dragged out onto the porch. Bercy was just off the porch. I think Sigmund was there. Wasn't Oscar dragging young Lefty, and Volan's not too far behind? Is that about right?
Looks
Yeah.
good.
That's it.
Seems right.
Now make individual letters for all the townspeople.
There you go, perfect. Well, they're cooped up, remember? That is something everyone outside now notices, is that Bercy's no slacker when it comes to governance, and everyone is safely, hopefully, locked away. Gorga's not running. He's walking. He's too far away to get a clear description of yet, but I'll hit you with one soon. Scene 5 is the calm before the storm.
Can we see if he has his giant blade on his back?
Of course he does.
Making sure. Because I want that sword.
I'm the one without a sword.
I'm going to hand you my cleaver, don't worry.
That orc cleaver that you angrily
It
dug
cuts
into
wood
a
real
tree.
good. I had 2, remember?
What's going on in scene 5? You failed your parlay, which made, you know, the Gorga thing happen. Additionally, though, Bercy makes eyes contact with Bruce, shakes his head, and says, "My patience has been worn too thin."
Well, Oscar is going to scramble up onto the roof of Percy's house to get a better view of anything coming.
There you go. Give me the tableau. What is each character doing right now? Including Volan.
Well, Bowling is staying very close to Lefty because he knows that Oscar does not trust or like Lefty.
Does he have like his pant leg and his teeth?
He's not
Daring
doing
him to
anything in the
move.
moment, but he's definitely eyes are keen on Lefty.
Bruce has just offered to fight Gorga in order for forgiveness, and Bercy said that's not going to happen.
It felt like a good deal.
Oscar is kneeled, perched upon the roof, scanning the horizon for any other orcs
It is
possibly in the tree
dark.
line.
The cicadas are out, the crickets, it's loud, you know, from the bug chorus.
Tell me what your elf eyes see.
You can see the approaching form of Gorga.
Only one of my eyes is open.
Are you trying to roll like a discern realities?
Yeah.
Or you...
I didn't realize that. Should point it out.
I climbed up on the roof and I said I was scanning the tree line.
It was a good description of one. I'm just, you gotta, you know, I'm a little blazed here. All right, you gotta help me out.
Yeah,
I was
Dave's
just thinking,
rusty too.
I was just thinking about how cool it was. I was sitting there thinking, like, damn, that would be so cool to watch. Like, sorry.
Gorga watched it.
So you roll wisdom as you closely study the situation. Oscar. Better. With an 8, you get to ask one question, so at least it's not a miss. Remember, you get +4, 1 forward when acting on the answers. So go ahead and select your question and ask me, the Dungeon Master. Remember, it's like meta. I'm compelled to be honest during this type of shit.
What should I be on the lookout for?
The thing you're already on the lookout for, wise Oscar, an ambush. Anything else going on here in Scene 5, or are we just gonna let Gorga stroll up?
Well, the town isn't armed, but
The town isn't hiding.
the town is in hiding. But we have Bruce's sword. We have Oscar's bow. I have a shield. I'll be your shield maiden.
I don't think Sigmund has anything apart
Sigmund
from
has a fiddle.
A fiddle. That's
And a
right.
broken rapier.
That's right. So, and half-eaten halfling pipe leaf and rations. That's how armed he is.
Bruce has an orc cleaver and a sword.
Are we going to take on this orc warlord? Because it seems the only thing to do.
Bruce is going to hand the cleaver to Edda. Worst case, you can throw it at him.
It puts the cleaver on her belt to her side, but really, she has her shield out.
So, are we going to tell Bercy to take Lefty and hide? Or do we want Bercy to help us?
I
Or
don't know
Lefty.
how Bercy or Lefty could help us.
Well, Bercy could run and try to round up townspeople.
But Bercy has decided that those people should hide in their houses.
Okay.
Bercy, who's right there, walks up onto the porch, grabs Lefty's collar. Does Volan resist them?
No, Volum is only watching to make sure he doesn't do anything.
And Bercy says, Bercy will be within guarding my prisoner and my family. And he kind of glares at Edda as he goes inside.
Hint, hint.
Still
think the
seeing
only
5 here
thing-
with the party arranged outside and Gorga approaching. He's there basically.
So we counter approaching Gorga right now?
I mean, tell me what you guys think, but I think the only true and honorable
Actually, no, we
thing
can
to
keep
do-
scene 5 rolling. Because Gorga gets, let's say he's this far. He's right at the tree line. And Gorga stands with his hands on his hips, defiantly. But
didn't.
stops approaching.
So the
I
last
remember, hold up, there's the, do we want to say there's a, for ambience, for ambiance, there's one of the cages out here?
Oh, yeah.
So you hear this distant, like,
Yeah, the zombies are still out there.
well, one of the cages. Remember, they're like separated, so that means the other one would probably be like over past where the parts, you know, you feel me? So there's this distant, you hear while you guys are outside. This probably another thing that was pissing off and disgusting Bercy. This curse he's brought upon his village by making a woman a judge.
Sexist.
Scene 5.
Broadcasting.
Social justice. What do you do?
Tell them to make better choices.
If we're
So, go ahead.
here are the two options that Etta can see. First, we can stand and face Gorga as a team. But if we're concerned about a possible
Nah, role
ambush
play it
or-
out. Role play it out. Role play it out. Dungeon World isn't a
Well-
game where you like ultra strategize. You should be role playing it out and doing moves.
Talk to me, Evan.
Well, Oscar, tell me what your elf eyes see.
I see nothing as of yet, but I never trust just a single orc.
I
You
don't
never see
either.
just one orc.
Are you
I will keep
concerned then
watch
that
and let
they're-
you know. I'm always concerned that there are more than meets the eye.
How can we use the undead men in the cages if there are more orcs in the forest?
There's women too.
Orc women
No, I mean the
or
undead.
women,
Yeah,
the undead persons.
yeah.
I'm wondering if we can't ambush what might be waiting to ambush us.
Well, with where we pin them, it would not be unlike as we would just restart the evening with the undead roaming back towards the city.
Just we can open the gates the other way. I can bend the bars and open them out towards the forest. But then we're unleashing undead on the forest in which we live. So that's a bad idea. I'm thinking we should just address Gorga by name.
Bruce, it was you that he was speaking to when he said tonight, was it not?
Yeah.
If Gorga wanted our village, he could have it now, in an instant. Why is he standing there waiting? What does he really want?
Finally, the adventurers begin to think.
So I'm thinking we should approach and ask him what he wants.
Scene 5. The timid adventurers are afraid.
How about
Do
that?
it.
So
Bruce
will
strides toward Gorga's position at the edge of the tree line.
And Oscar thinks to Volan that he needed to stay at Bruce's side.
So is this scene 6? The wolf follows a few paces behind Bruce.
Edda's gonna be there too. She's not just gonna let Bruce walk out towards this orc warlord by himself. She'll let him speak, but she's not gonna just let him walk out there all alone.
Sigmund is going to keep a respectful distance.
of Bruce or Gorga?
Of Bruce, Edda, and Volan, just to see, along with Oscar, just to see the row of trees and to see Odstad with a bit more of a keen eye. not
Oscar,
trusting the situation.
Do you have a called shot lined up?
Were you trying to discern reality, Sigmund? Just now?
Not just yet.
Okay.
Oscar, do you have to say or do something to set up a called shot?
It just has to be against a defenseless enemy.
Okay.
So I think starting a fight would qualify.
I'm thinking as Bruce is approaching, he's going to be scanning the tree line and looking for anything out of place, looking for glinting of black steel or something in the moonlight.
Are you trying? Okay, that's what I figured. So again, that's going to be wisdom. I don't know if that's Bruce's strong suit.
It's a +1.
Hey. Hey. So that means you also get to ask one question. And remember, you get +1 forward when acting on the answers to your question.
What here is not what it appears to be.
Bruce, as many of the other of his band, have suspicions about anything involving a single orc. So Bruce is almost certain that there's more than just Gorga here, though he can't see them. So scene 6 has Sigmund back just off the porch and Oscar on top of Bercy's home, his longhouse. So they're not in frame. So the scene is focused around farther down the track, a few hundred yards or whatever, closer to the tree line, where Gorga is standing defiantly. Bolin is following behind Bruce, and Edda is there as well with her shield out. They're close enough to see Gorga's appearance. Gorga, like we said, is huge. I think we said like 7 feet tall or something like that. Around that neighborhood. What do you got, a yardstick out? You know, dark mottled green, scars from many battles. In this case, he's covered in strange fluids and black magic runes. He's got elemental charms hanging from his neck. He's like way more kitted out than he was before. He seems to almost thrum with energy. And strapped across his back, of course, is the black iron blade, which itself is encarved with some kind of wicked runes empowering it. He has his arms crossed, his blade on his back right now. His hair is like matted, disgusting long dreads that are matted with like blood, saliva. You know, he's got big tusks. He's not fucking around in the orc department.
So he looks like I do after a long day at work.
Exactly. He has his arms crossed, and he's simply shaking his head. Then he points to simply just Bruce. Yeah, that's a perfect Gorga right there.
Bruce is going to obviously address him by name, kind of a sign of respect. He's going to tell him that he has been impressed by Gorga. He did not expect them to bring zombies to the fight. He expected them to just try to lay siege to the town and kind of like praise his battle tactics and stroke his dick a little bit.
Are you just role playing, or are you trying to do a move?
See, again, no leverage for a parlay, so
Right.
I'm gonna be asking him what he wants, but he's not gonna tell me.
The leverage can be his life.
He just points at the ground in front of him.
I think I know what he wants.
Neil.
We're scene 6. What does Bruce do?
I don't want to kneel.
Then don't. Would you rather die than kneel?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'll
Miller,
die with
thanks,
you.
man.
Hmm.
What do you do?
Like the ominous bells in the background.
Ominous bells.
Hmm.
Bruce is just going to shout to him that if he's got a trap, he might as well spring it. I am prepared to die.
I think while Sigmund is kind of watching and sees the tension kind of rising over there, he kind of gets the suspicion that maybe something's going to go down and would like to discern reality just to see what's about to happen.
Alright, so we'll do scene 7, and it's back at the porch. Oscar's up top, and Sigmund's on the edge of the porch. And Sigmund can see Etta, Bruce, and Gorga with Volan in the distance. Thanks again, Miller. I like when you do the variety. So it's like a nice when you go into those colorful cocktails and it's like got layers. And so Sigmund is kind of scanning with his storyteller's eyes, and so that's you're doing a discern realities off that. I like that, but that would be probably scene 7. Cuts. Did you get a distant view of what you just saw close up? After Ed and Bruce are like, "We'll die." So go ahead and roll your wisdom there, Sigmund.
It was more, we will greet Valhalla with a smile because I know my ancestors are smiling upon me. But
Now they're pissed at you, remember?
well, Ada's ancestors.
But
are
maybe
smiling
this
on
could
me.
redeem them, you know? Not her ancestors inside pissed us out there.
All right, so Volan. Volan's pretty.
Volan's
good
happy.
terms.
His
All
thug's
right.
out. He's good to
He's
go.
getting in. We're all out.
He's like, I might get some meat soon, so.
Human or
Alright.
orc, otherwise.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
great.
What do I want to do off
Jesus.
that? Well, how
The
do
cages break open.
At least you guys are getting a lot of experience points. So you never have downtime of the level. You can just look at them and be sad.
Yeah, for the characters that are going to die this scene.
Oh, man.
Can we do questing adventures in Valhalla after we die?
Tales from Beyond the Crypt.
Saga of the Broken Skulls.
It's Broken Dreams.
Here we go. So I make a move. Suddenly, a shifting smear, kind of like an oozy globe of darkness, of like impenetrable dark where you can't even see your hand right in front of your face, suddenly whoop, silently appears, enveloping Oscar and Sigmund. You also hear a confused shout from inside from Bercy.
So a dark shadow envelops the house?
Essentially a globe of darkness. but it's not like a perfect sphere. It kind of like shifts and shimmers and oozes, but within it you can't see 1 inch in front of your face. So suddenly Oscar and Sigmund, as well as it sounds like Bercy back here in scene, what are we on 7? Are enveloped in darkness, pitch black.
And we have our eyes trained on Gorga. Can we see if he did anything?
Yeah, you may not have even noticed if you guys are totally focused that way. I bet who would have noticed, if anybody, would be Volan. But you guys aren't in this scene.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue here with scene 7, or do you want to have it cut back after that darkness falls?
Well, I'd just like to say that's probably one of the worst discern reality outcomes.
What do I see? Nah, nothing.
You are in darkness. Yeah.
It's clearly some sort of magical darkness.
I know this move.
Yes.
Alright, we cut back. Scene 8. Oscar and Sigmund are like, fuck. Scene 8. We go back to Etta and Bruce, and
Volan starts to let out a low growl. It's almost like he's cut off from his other half all of a sudden.
wait a minute.
He can be 2 places at once. That's cheating.
Wait a minute.
Well,
Oh, it always acts as you wish it to. Alright, yeah. You literally can't have it do that, alright? So Volan is trying to get their attention on the globe of darkness. When we come back to scene 8, Gorga has his black iron rune blade extended, and is just and it's pointed, leveled at Bruce. And then Volan, what?
he lets out a low growl as it a warning to something is happening.
So Volan is letting out a whine.
Yes.
They're not rangers. They don't know. They just know the dogs.
That's why I said he let out a low growl. Like, shit's about to happen.
What if he like tugged on his sleeve or something to point him in that direction? Because obviously shit's about to happen. There's a giant orc with the sword out. Maybe he's growling at that. They don't know. They're not animalologists. Anyway, dog's growling. What do you guys do?
Bruce has his shield out, and he's got Hringir drawn, and he slams the blade of Hringir against the shield, and he points his sword back at Gorga and starts to approach.
Oh, shit.
And then Volan
What about Etta?
starts to bark, like per se, or howl at Etta.
There you go. He's trying to get more attention. Nice.
Etta is going to stand in defense of Bruce.
Alright, so that's a move.
Mm-hmm.
So, defend. We stand in defense. Roll Constitution. Here it comes. That's sweet 6.
It was an 8. I knew it.
There you go.
We've literally only rolled 6s and 8s.
The 8 is your
game.
best. So you get to hold 1 off the 8. And then you got the 4 different options you can do.
I mean, to be fair, we don't have that many moves to pull from, so it's a low sample size.
Maybe if you guys would
Regardless,
take some
there's,
time to level, you'd have a couple moves.
Give me a
There's
second to
10
catch up
numbers,
on
and we
some
rolled 2.
notes.
To what?
And
So
catch
there's
up on
10
some
numbers, and we rolled 2.
What are you checking on?
No, I'm just catching up.
Okay, yeah.
Catching
Give me
up on
one
notes.
second.
Oh yeah, go for it. Sounds like you guys are gonna tangle with fucking Gorga here.
Again, it went so well the first time.
What do you think's up with the globe of darkness that appeared?
Well,
I mean,
I can use my outside knowledge of the game to say there's a spellcaster nearby.
Oh yeah, we're talking total meta
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If it goes by the normal Dungeon Dragons, well, type of rules, then it's there is, what are this called? Dark. No, what the hell?
I will say that Dungeon World lets you have like very fancy variants of traditional, so don't
Do we
think
get
it's
to
a
know
wizard quite yet.
mechanically how this works? Like, will the globe move with
Nah,
the characters,
nah.
or
Not until the characters
figure that out?
move.
Nah, you don't wanna. You don't wanna know. You're not an orcologist.
Well, despite Etta standing in defense of Bruce, her shield out, one hand close to that little tiny orc cleaver is all that she has to defend herself with. Volan does get her attention, and she looks over her shoulder and sees her house enveloped
Covered in thaumaturgical darkness.
darkness. It's like
Darker than the night itself.
exactly. And she whispers into Bruce's ear, "Some dark magic has been cast upon our house. I cannot see Sigmund or Oscar or my father."
Bruce will nod and tell her to follow his lead, and he's going to get closer to Gorga and then sprint for the tree line and try to fight him on Bruce's own terms. If he's got a big sword, he wants him to have to cut through trees to try to fight Bruce, and maybe he can find the spellcaster in there.
So it sounds like you're going to,
Defy some danger.
yeah, to get past them, right?
Yeah.
Feel you.
I'm thinking that's dexterity.
Well, it depends on how you describe it. You kind of said just what you're trying to do, but you didn't really describe what it would look like. Depending on how you describe it, it will kind of determine what you could factor in on it.
See, I'm thinking he would get, not necessarily within
Like,
striking
describe the
distance of
scene
Gorga.
to me, and then we'll see what stat we feel like it would be.
Alright, so he'll get to a point where Gorga can see the whites of Bruce's eyes and think that Bruce is going to attack.
So they're like squaring
Yeah.
off. They're tangoing. You can smell his dreadlocks.
Yeah. And Bruce will sprint for the tree line and try to just surprise him with the fact that he's moving past Gorga. Or maybe not even past, but adjacent.
So you try to use your quickness.
Something like that.
So that would be dexterity, I would say.
I looked up the thing I was thinking of.
And if
Unless-
I'm following, I'm rolling the same thing. My own defy danger with dex.
Nah, I would say the closest thing would be an aid, because you kind of have the shield up and you're running interference.
Mm-hmm.
In case Gorga tries to get him mid-sprint, you're kind of the rear guard. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, we can do an aid here. Double check how many bonds we have. I think we just have one.
Unless we think it's even cooler if I power through Gorga.
Nah.
You can describe it however you can describe it how you want, man. If you did that, you could roll strength.
Yeah, I've got a +2 to strength.
Alright, here's an aid.
Nope, it's locked
It's
in.
gonna be an 8.
So an 8 on an aid means that you do... What if I... Here it is. Bruce will get a +1 to his Defy Danger. However, if he whiffs it, then you're in trouble too. Which makes sense because you got the shield up here between, so that's kind of cool.
I'm thinking I've got to power through Gorga.
Alright, yeah, you can still do whatever you want. She's
'Cause that's the
basically...
+3.
Etta sets up to guard your back. She's got the shield. And Bruce is having a mental back and forth. Do I want to try to juke? Do I want to just blast through? Sounds like he's deciding to blast through for a total of what, +3?
Yeah, I think Bruce will like shield bash into Gorga, try to knock him off his feet, and get away into the tree line.
So a defy danger with strength.
Now this is like trying to
Yeah.
bull rush Brock Lesnar times like 3, but alright.
Pretty much, yeah.
So is this strength or constitution?
I would call it strength, yeah. But the cool
It's-
thing is it's a fantasy, so maybe you will
It's-
bull rush Brock Lesnar times 3.
Barely.
That's not a 6. We're an 8.
So that on a
Lucky
defy
step.
danger is I gotta give you a bargain. So Bruce charges Gorga. What does Bruce, does he make a sound when he charges? Does he make a face? Anything? Or is he
He'll
just
shout,
stone cold?
He'll shout witness.
There you go. And Edda does witness. She's coming behind. She's got her shield out. Well, maybe she's probably in front to your right like that, actually, with her shield out. She's trying to protect. What does Volan do? Does he run off back to the house?
Volan's my eyes right now, so he knows that I need him.
So
to
he's
watch
like
for me.
anxiously circling.
He's looking back towards the darkness, making sure that there's nothing coming to me.
Got it. So he's kind of like hanging out in between.
Yeah, he's definitely on guard for whatever's next.
And then y'all move forward. So the as you charge and make contact with Gorga, he reaches out and simply grabs the top of Bruce's shield. What does your shield look like? Is it like a kite or a circle?
It's a round shield, wooden.
Alright, so he just grabs the top of it and he yanks you a little bit toward him, and you can tell that he's got you controlled if you hang on to the shield. So you can either stay like right up in the grill and hang on to your shield and commence battle, or you can let Gorga have your shield and successfully maneuver past him like you wanted to into the trees to make the terrain harder for his size.
Or we can redirect the attack onto Edda.
Nah, cause not an attack.
You wouldn't be able to use my defense.
Nah, I wouldn't count it in that. Well, actually,
Okay.
yeah, I would let you use it in this way in this situation, since it is kind of like a little bit of a twist on it. I would let you use it in that Gorga grabbed your shield instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be the same condition, just that he's holding your shield instead of Bruce's. Like you got in between. Feel me?
I think Bruce would relinquish his shield if he's fighting Gorga on Bruce's
Well,
own terms.
first, do you want to spend your hold to do that, Edda? Where
No, not
Gorga has your
not
shield?
If,
Or
no,
no?
not if Bruce is gonna drop it.
Okay.
I'll be your shield.
So Bruce
Yeah.
relinquishes his shield, realizing that Edda is shield bearer, and then yeah, just position yourself wherever you wanted to move into the tree line. We don't have to like draw some crazy tree map or anything. We know that you're in the I guess the Feldergrins, technically the edge of them. So they're hardwoods, you know. Do we want to cut back to the darkness? Or what, scene 9?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so scene 9, we cut back to Bercy's home, swathed in magical darkness. What do you do?
Well, I kind of yelled down to Sigmund, we've got to find the source or the caster of this darkness, for as they are probably as dangerous as Gorga is out there. Find your way out by walking away from my voice and towards Volan. Who then I mentally tell him to start howling on his end to guide Sigmund out.
Alright.
That sounds like a defy danger intelligence from Sigmund to me. To be able to do that. What do you think?
From Sigmund.
Yeah.
To be able to...
Because he's the one that's got to listen to Oscar's voice and Volan's voice and triangulate his way out of the darkness. If that indeed is what's going on.
I think you're right, yeah. So, let's see. With quick thinking, I would say, to me, it sounds as though that maybe Sigmund would know to move away from the darkness, but maybe Oscar is helping him out.
Yeah, I could see, you could roll have Oscar definitely roll a aid, and then you roll the defy danger. You want to do that, Oscar? So not only are you're aided, but if it goes wrong, you're exposed to the same problem. So you'll get a +1 on top of whatever your intelligence modifier is on your roll.
Okay, cool. So Sigmund is just thinking that he's going to walk away from the darkness.
There you go.
As though he could see.
So yeah, you can walk straight out of it, like, you know, right there or whatever. Sigmund concentrates carefully on the howls of Oscar's wolf, and he's able to walk straight out of this magical darkness. You can see the edges of it. It's very spooky and ephemeral, how it's the normal moonlit darkness of evening, of nighttime, and then this dark kind of almost like an ink cloud in the air. But he is able to work his way out of it. Hoping you guys would fail some rolls. Bummer. Do we keep this scene rolling here? I don't even remember what number we're on.
I think this is 8.
Yeah.
Is there more moves? Is there more things going? What's next? Sigmund's free. Sigmund can see that the wolf is there a few paces out howling to, you know, help him triangulate. There's of course the zombies cage down below, lending the nice creepy ambience. Bruce and Etta are gone, and it appears that Gorga is charging into the trees.
So I think Sigmund is going to just be completely focused on the darkness, not even notice that the rest of the party and Gorga are missing. So, consulting his knowledge of grand histories, being aware, of course, of this kind of magic through his education, he's going to think that if this is a magic which is maybe being produced by an orc mage, he's going to think, well, how far away or how close is that mage likely to be to the spell? So I think that would probably be spouting lore about the spell and thinking about where the mage is likely to be.
Well, you can't exactly ask. Well, no, I mean, that's actually good. You kind of gave me an idea of some interesting info you'd be interested in, and then you spout lore about it. I actually like it when you guys do that, so that's good. Yeah, that's a good spout lore, since as a Scald, you would be... You kind of even did more than you had to, because... how it kind of works is once you roll it, I can be like, alright, how do you know that? But you already told me how you know it, because you're a Scald.
Yes.
You've at least got a passing familiarity with the magic, so nice. So yeah, roll a spout lore.
Cool.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you're about to find out how close the caster needs to be. You're gonna know. Let me throw in a letter here.
Hey, Edda, do you remember the exact wording of your quest?
It's to discover the truth of the Luke Dog clan.
I wonder how granular we can get with that.
So, as a result of that miss, as Sigmund is contemplating and a bit mystified by the supernatural darkness, he's kind of like letting his hands toy with the edges as he thinks about it, and a leathery orcish hand with long black claw-like nails reaches out, grabs him, pulls him in, puts a hand over his mouth, the smelling of just awful blood, shit, everything, so that he can't scream or can hardly breathe, and pulls him somewhere into this darkness.
Jesus.
You can feel the coldness of a blade at his throat. And I don't know if Oscar would even know that happened.
He would. Volan was watching.
Oh yeah, Volan. Do you like? I don't think you can see through your senses though. Your animal just always does what you want, right? Let's see.
But we communicate.
Nah.
Would Voland...
You have a
howl,
supernatural
bark?
connection with a loyal animal. You can't talk to it per se, but it always acts as you wish it to. Your animal companion is trained to fight humanoids and monsters.
But would Voland, howl or bark or do something to notify you that there was danger?
Oh, I'm sure he could do that. But it's not like he's going to be able to pinpoint the location where he saw.
I feel that I would know.
Nah, you wouldn't know.
You would know that something had happened. That something wasn't right because Voland
the only
was
thing
freaking
I
out.
feel that I would know is Sigmund was there and now he's not.
You could be like, would have shouted.
You wouldn't know that because
Shouted it.
there'd be no way for you to know. You would just know that something is up. You would know that your dog is alerting because it's barking. But the supernatural connection is not really like you share the senses or anything. It's more like you know if they're alive or dead, but it's not like you can see through their eyes and stuff. They do always do what you want. So if you want Volan to go here, go there, do this, sure, but it's not like you can Oscar can mystically know. I think later you can unlock things like that, but not right now.
But Oscar definitely knows that
Something is
not
up.
right.
Right. There's just many things that could be not right, right? So Volan does definitely alert. Do we cut scenes again after Sigmund gets drawn into the darkness? Back to Edda and Bruce?
Yeah, I'm cooking something up over here.
Alright.
All right.
So we cut back to Edda and Bruce, who are fleeing through the trees with in the Feldergrins with Gorga, the Orc war chief, in hot pursuit. You occasionally hear him laughing at you. What do you do?
with the little bit of distance between us, Bruce is going to use the power of ring gear and attempt to hack and slash against Gorga, you know, hiding behind a tree, taking a little bit of cover and slashing across and seeing if he can do a little bit of damage to Gorga before Gorga can really...
What do you mean the
close
power
down.
of ring gear?
The 10-foot range of ring gear.
You mean the fact that it has reach?
Yeah, so if it whiffs, Gorga obviously can close the gap, but if it doesn't... then
Or
we
if
can get
Gorga
that.
has a weapon with reach too, he can ting!
Yeah. Nice bell timing.
Exactly. Right? I was like, damn.
What's also eerily creepy is there was a crack of lightning as she did that
Yeah.
outside of the house.
So
Yeah,
you're basically just rolling a vanilla old hack and slash here. So just give me
Yeah,
the
basically.
flavor.
That's what I was giving you.
Yeah,
I'm
give me
ducking
the-
behind the trees, hiding behind one, and trying to just do the little flick of ring gear and get a cut across Gorga's chest.
So as
Whenever
he's
he's
charging, Bruce
approaching.
turns and crouches and tries to use the fact that ring gear can strike opponents who seem too far away to be hit
Right.
to swing in for a quick strike here. Got it.
And we'll continue retreating afterwards.
I have a quick question for you, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
One of my holds for my defend is to open up an attacker to an ally, giving that ally +1 forward against the attacker. Is that only one time, or is that...
Now that lasts the rest of the encounter, so to speak.
Okay.
So he would have +1 on all rolls versus Gorga for the duration of, tonight, basically. Unless, for some reason, multiple days pass in game or something, but they won't.
It'll be a long run.
That would never happen.
But what would be a way that you would open up an attacker to an ally?
You could
Gotta
hide behind
use
a
that
different tree and ambush
imagination.
them.
Yeah. Could
What'd you say?
hit him in the toe
Bruce?
with your shield.
Kneecap. That's the worst.
Is that what you're trying to do?
This is very, very remnant of the time that Etta and Bruce fought the orcs when they were little kids.
Kind of is.
She remembers that orc who spat poison in Bruce's eyes and kept him from being able to help her. And she doesn't have anything like that, but she thinks she might be able to throw dirt into Gorga's eyes, blind him a little, and try and give Bruce an advantage.
And you're suspending your hold to do that?
Yeah.
Got it. So you can take...
And does that just happen?
Yeah,
Because I have a hold? I don't have
Yeah.
to roll for it?
you got it.
All right.
But now that hold is spent, so now if you wanted to be able to do
Yeah.
more defense stuff, you have to roll again. Yeah, you got
To
it.
defend. All right.
So do you kick sand up in his eyes or dirt up at his eyes with your shield?
Well, as Etta and Bruce are running up to the tree that Bruce has kind of identified he's going to use to make his attack from, she just sort of bends down, scoops up a handful of dirt, turns around suddenly to try and catch Gorga off guard, and throws it into his eyes.
All right. Yo, Amstel, that's what we were telling her. I was like, you gotta stub his toe. He goes arrow to the knee. So, Etta,
Not a 2.
roll 2. What did you get? 2. So,
There,
Etta,
Damn it.
One is 2.
Etta tosses loose dirt up into the war chief's eyes as Bruce rolls a successful hack and slash here, which means you get to deal damage and avoid their attack. You can do extra damage if you want to expose yourself to their attack. But remember, hack and slash, like, you can be descriptive, and if you do things, you know, Dungeon World's all about description, and if you do things in your description, like, they take effect. So, like, sure, you can just do damage or whatever, but you can be like, you know, you well, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna give it away. Just be, if you're creative, like, I'll be creative when I'm dealing damage, and so you can be creative when you're dealing damage too, and those effects will occur. Thanks again, Miller.
Is he one-handing his big sword?
Yeah, right now he's got one hand wiping dirt out of his eyes angrily, and he's holding the black iron blade in his other hand.
And I'll be going for his arm and wrist with my little flick of Hringir and trying to sever his arm.
Alright. Did you roll your damage?
Not yet. That's good damage.
Woohoo!
And that is +2 piercing, by the way.
Alright. Let me just write down over here real quick on my postie.
Quick mechanical
So,
clarification.
yeah.
Is 2 piercing means it pierces 2 armor, or 2 of that damage is piercing damage?
If I
Pierces 2 armor.
remember correctly, I think it pierces 2 armor, but I'd have to
Gotcha.
double check.
Okay.
So describe it though. Like, what do you do?
He's gonna notice that, you know, he's wiping the dirt away from his eyes. He's got Hringir drawn and raised, and he
I mean,
flicks his
I'll tell
wrist.
you, he's not dead. I'll give
Yeah.
you that much.
He flicks his wrist against what he feels is Gorga's arm, and he's attempting to sever his arm, maybe at the elbow.
Alright, so Hringir flicks in, slashes across Gorga's forearm, thick as a tree trunk. But, while there's no severing, there is some severe damage. Dark, black, orc blood spraying, tendons showing, and his hand spasms, causing him to, at least for the moment, drop his blade into the grass.
Bruce, I have an idea.
There's no talk. You don't have. You can't. There's no meeting here. What do you do?
Follow me.
Bruce is gonna
My
turn and
turn.
follow Etta.
And Etta keeps sprinting through the woods away from Gorga. While he's distracted.
Let's have a
the
defy
pain.
danger.
You want to do it with Dex?
That sounds like how you described it to me.
And then, should we do it the same way we did it before, where one of us is aiding and one of us is rolling
It's
the
up
defy
to
danger?
y'all.
Yep. Maybe Bruce will help her stand up or something along those lines. I'm not
You
sure
cover-
exactly how
You're covering my butt while
Okay.
we're sprinting through the woods.
I have 2 bonds with you.
So that equals 6.
Or 8, like all the other aids we've had.
Hey.
So that's gonna net her the +1, but it is gonna expose you to any potential danger.
No, that's a -1. I pushed her over. I didn't actually.
Damn it. 6. 8. Why?
What type of hit points do you guys have?
I have full health.
Healthy hit points.
Enough.
um.
I mean,
Gorga.
I don't really want to take 2d10 plus 2.
I know, right? It sucks. Gorga, in one fell swoop, recovers his blade and swings it across the backs of the fleeing heroes. So yeah, I'm just dealing some damage with this miss. I've been nice. This is the first time I've even dealt damage to you guys from a miss. Isn't that nice for me?
Yeah, it just happens to be
And
the
he's-
most powerful monster.
And he's dealing damage to both of you.
I might split it up a little. Nah, because see, the aide says you expose yourself too, so.
You split them in 2 pieces.
Right.
That's what happens.
Right. I have I don't feel bad at all because he knew what he was signing up for.
My notes are correct here. It says 2d10 plus 2, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're rolling it?
Oh yeah, you roll it. There, perfect. Nah.
Oh,
We'll take yours. We'll take yours.
Nice.
Well, it's 2 different rolls. It's 2
am
people.
I rolling then?
Why would I shut down your nah. The player rolls count. I was just that was a ruse. So you both take 13 points.
Oh, so I'm not rolling for myself?
Oh, what? To roll 2 different amounts?
You're
No.
the game master.
No, you wish. You feel the sickening feeling of the black iron. See, you don't want to roll. It keeps going up.
There you go.
Entering your left hip and carving up diagonally across your back, screeching. Because remember, your armor affects it and stuff, right? It's not like piercing or anything, I don't think. Nah, it's not piercing. So your armor protects you and stuff. So your armor screeches as it rakes across you. Then it exits your upper right shoulder, or probably mid shoulder on the right, going across Bruce and coming out his upper right. You hear Gorga make a satisfied grunt. Are we staying with that, or are we cutting back? Because we got about, we have like, on a good estimate, 20 minutes left.
I'm okay with sticking with that because I think our scene pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yours,
On the house
yours
summed
might
up.
spiral out of control.
I
It
think
was
so,
like,
yeah.
oh, we got out of the darkness, and boop.
Yeah, I guess it's really kind of coming down to a little bit of a point is, are you guys going to run away or, I mean, keep trying to, like, keep the fight a kite fight, like running away?
And it has a plan. But
Start enacting.
the plan won't be able to. We won't be able to do it in 20 minutes.
I mean, we can just call it here. It's probably a good stopping point after that.
You
mean,
get
I kinda
slashed.
wanna-
Another hero disappears. End of session.
Does Sigmund and Oscar want to do
That
anything?
the last like sound of the episode is the screeching noise of the blade going across your armor.
I kind of wanted to
Massive
take
damage.
one last ditch counterattack to Gorga.
You want to roll one more time this session?
I think so.
All right.
So Bruce, after having the blade hit him in the side, he's going to spin around and just slash Kringir. Try to get him across the chest or maybe the neck and see what happens.
Coming in with the stand-up fight. What happens? You're gonna roll a 6. Oh.
Or 10.
That means you
Ooh.
can deal your damage with no retaliation. Yeah, Savannah, what up? This is video games before we had computers.
Oh.
Mm.
So he's going to try to cut him across the neck. He's going to decapitate this orc.
Ooh.
Yo, you do.
Yes! I told him I'd do it.
The Bruce spins in retaliation, and severs Gorga's head at the neck. Gorga's face is surprised as it leaves his body. His huge frame, collapses with a thud. There's black gore spurting everywhere,
Ooh.
covering both of you.
I've never been more happy to be covered in black gore.
So that's probably even a better moment to end it on.
I knew I could do it.
I'm gonna have to watch that back. I had to answer the door. What happened?
Gorga just got his head chopped off.
Okay.
Make a note here.
Incredibly anime.
One moment.
Don't ever attack my friends.
Yeah, like, what is the moment after that? Like, yeah, thanks, Savannah.
Where's the quirky one-liner?
I like that y'all are cheering tabletop. That's brilliant. And thanks for the bits.
Gorga, more like Gorgon.
Yeah, it could be an action movie one-liner if you want. Describe it to me. Describe, like, do you want the episode to end, like, his head gets cut off and sprays everywhere and then it's over with?
I would have it so that you hear Fringir, but you're looking at Bruce through Gorga, and you see Gorga's head fall off, and you see the gore spraying everywhere, and you see Etta and Bruce through the blood as he collapses in a Kurosawa kind of style.
So it's like a samurai movie? Yes.
Yeah. Both shocked and in disbelief.
At the same moment, the exact same thing happens to Sigmund in the darkness.
That is just as shocked as Gorga is.
Hold on, I gotta make one more note to myself.
Look, see, you could have 1v1 them, Bruce.
I told him I would.
Hey, I helped with
That's true.
the +1 going forward.
It was a team effort.
That's why I was doing it, because I'm like, I'm not going to remember that I have that +3 next time. I just want to go for one more attack.
Yeah, it was all me.
Remember all that. Yeah. Cool, that's a badass session. Thanks for the bits again, guys. Appreciate that a lot. So we'll do the end of session move, and that'll wrap up episode 8. We're coming up to episode 10, which will be the season finale, and then we'll decide at that point if we want to do another season of this, which we will eventually, even if we don't do it right away, or if we want to do a different world game for a season. And don't forget, we'll also be starting that Labyrinth Lord game soon as well, so that we can play that probably about once a week, and that's more like the simulationist type, like, going through dungeons and shit like that. So it'll be cool to have the balance with this like extreme story game versus the extreme, like, how much does your fucking comb weigh game.
Since you also said that it could be a short session, can we do that after this? After stream, I should say.
Nah, we should
Yeah,
probably
we've got
make it
some
a
work to
separate
do.
thing, yeah. Unfortunately.
We had some dates identified, so
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it
yeah.
sooner or later.
We'll do it.
All right, let's do
Um,
the Oh yeah, what?
We can plan it whenever we're off air. It's fine.
All right, we'll do the end of session move here. So first off, does anyone feel like they've completely resolved a bond?
No.
No.
I'm looking at
Nope.
y'all's bonds
Negative.
right now. You're definitely making some progress on Edda's bond about being hard.
Yeah.
What's your bond with me?
You are soft, but I will make you hard like me.
Well, I have one that says Bruce is a brave soul. I have much to learn from him, so
Boom.
They'll probably resolve at the same time.
All right.
probably have to have some role play training sessions.
So if
I
you
did
haven't,
finally get you to give up the sword.
that's true. If you haven't resolved the bond, all right, we'll move on to alignment. Does anyone feel like they fulfilled their alignment this session?
I do.
I was angling for it.
Well, let's give me the case here.
You first, Bruce.
Defeat a worthy opponent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead and mark that experience point.
With 20 damage.
With 2 swipes of ring gear, you defeated the orc champion.
That decapitation was so gory it killed Sabatum's internet. Brutal.
I was angling, my alignment is to reveal a dangerous lie. And so that's what I was kind of angling for when I was telling Bercy about Mundi having given the swords to the orcs.
So you're saying that Mundi lied and that he actually, like, the orcs didn't capture the swords when they captured him? That he gave them to him?
I don't have reason to suspect that he was captured, except that he was in a net, but I... No, what I'm saying is...
He was there of his own free will.
But maybe he likes it.
He gave the swords up for a reason, but then he was captured afterwards. That's what I think.
Well, I don't think we can count that because it's not actually a lie.
All right. Well, I thought I'd bring it up.
That was your alternative facts.
Exactly.
Anything? Any other alignments get fulfilled? All right, then we'll move on to the questions. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
We learned that there are orc spellcasters that can create an orb of darkness.
Mm.
We learned that Bercy has sent for reinforcements from Ugathwaite.
Long ago.
That's a pretty good one, yeah, like right away.
And Bruce is now a orc war chief.
Yeah, you're in charge of the tribe now. Yeah, I give you guys credit for that, so everybody marks 1 off that. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? I think everybody can mark 1 off that.
I was a big help.
Yeah. Well, we all pitched in.
And then, did you loot a memorable treasure?
We're about to.
Well,
we're going to get the black
Yeah,
blade.
the sword.
You can add the scene of you picking it up. Now, I will tell you, you're going to be disappointed.
So
Well.
if we add that scene on,
But it's still cool looking, you know?
It's
Would
a
we-
post-credit scene.
It's just
would
not
we
going to
find-
do
yeah,
that same...
would we find out that it's
sort
not
of damage.
significant enough to have that be XP worthy?
Oh, you know, you get the XP. Yeah, everybody can mark
Okay.
XP off that because it's cool.
For
It's
looting the
it's
sword?
definitely a
Okay.
trophy, but I'm just trying to
We'll
tell you
remember
it's
Gorgo.
not going to do 2d10 in your hands. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah.
No. I don't think we expected that.
I wanted it for other
You're not a
reasons.
7-foot orc, you know?
Later down the line, I'll evolve Volan into a 7-foot orc.
What's a badass trophy? Somebody should draw it. It's like one of the... It could be like one of the first trophies of your band before you get outlawed here and have to be in exile for a year and a day.
Well, we'll work that into a patch? Question mark.
Alright, so that was good. Good sesh. So yeah, do the use. Just do your thing. We'll figure out when we're playing. Thanks for playing. And we'll try to get that Labyrinth Lord session up here soon. Like I said, I want to do one off, like where we don't bother even to stream it first for those of you that are playing it. And then we'll get it together and then we'll start streaming that game too. But peace. Alright, y'all. That's going to do it for another edition of the Saga of Broken Blades, man. Appreciate everybody chilling, as always. Thanks for all the support, man. The bits. No tips this month so far. Otherwise, I'd thank you for those. The subscriptions, following, just hanging out, man. Hope you guys are having a good Thursday. I'm doing good. I'm gonna cut off the stream, but I might be back later to play next day. I probably will be. It's like an early access survival game, so if you're into that, be sure to tune in. I do want to thank these illustrious members of the 420 Club. Let me thank Kit Woo, Concat, Freeborn Pat, Sabatum, Vodka, Globe 99, Miller Duo, and Gatsby. To learn more about that, check out the Patreon. I prefer, if you want to have a recurring support, do the Twitch sub. But if you want extra credit, there's Patreon for you. We got another O show tomorrow. I'll be fucking heavily with some Witcher. Be sure to tune in for that. Usually don't stream on Saturdays. And then, like always, I'll post on Sunday another post with what shows you can expect next week. If you missed one, it'll probably be on YouTube for you. You know, it's a fully featured stream here. We're fully Twitch affiliated. We're doing it right. See you guys soon.